Logical morning. Welcome to Vidhigya presents the Hindu newspaper analysis. Today's session will have following segment: overview of today's newspaper, must know topics and explanation, and quiz time with 5 important questions. So starting with the first segment, that is overview of today's newspaper. So here, the first topic that here is wearing hijab is not an essential part of religion, Karnataka High Court held. So this topic will discuss about what is essential religious practices and why what is the decision of Karnataka High Court, and then right to religion, right to freedom of religion. So we'll discuss that. Then SC stays telecast ban on Media One. So this topic, along with one more article, we'll discuss what was the situation. On this page, no important article. In this page also, there's no important articles. This page also no important. All articles are related to hijab bans. This page so this is talk about the accidental firing of Indian missile into the Pakistan side that we have discussed about that. So this topic talks about the arguments are more philosophical that what needs to be done that and how the situation could have happened given that if it was during the election times or if what it was during the Balakot strike, then situation could have been different and the Pakistan could have retaliated. So this is the this article talks about that both the countries, that India and Pakistan, and prevailed good sense in both the countries, and both the countries accepted that Pakistan accepted that it was a misfire, and India also accepted that it was a technical glitch, that it is misfired, and therefore the good sense prevailed between the both the countries, and the country did not engage much beyond that and only demanded the joint probe, or you can say India ordered an inquiry for such firing. So nothing important related to this in this article. Then this we have discussed already about the increasing inflation due to the increasing oil prices. This is about cricket, and this is not important, but it is related to Russia-Ukraine crisis, that how and what India should do. So different article or different authors have different views on what India should do in Ukraine. So these types of article becomes important in subjective answer, but not in the objective answers. So this is also Russia-Ukraine crisis. This is also Russia-Ukraine crisis. Nothing important. This all here is related to that hijab ban and then election news. So that is not important. We will discuss about this topic. That is this state's telecast ban on Media One channel. We'll discuss this. And we will discuss FCRA. So in one of our sessions, we have discussed about FCRA. Then again, we'll discuss about is FCRA. Then here evacuation delay. So what is important is Operation Ganga. Operation Ganga that was launched by Government of India to evacuate its citizens from Ukraine. UN resolution focuses only on one religion. So there is an international. So remember March 15 as the International Day to Combat Islamophobia. So the Indian representative in UN says that UN resolution focuses only on one religion, that is Islam, and therefore it has declared only March 15 as the International Day against Islamophobia. So day to combat Islamophobia. Though say it this he says that UN bodies such as UN must focus on all the religion and not only on the one religion. So what you have to remember is March 15, International Day to Combat Islamophobia. Health Ministry issues alert against Mixicom vaccine. So it's not like that you take one Covaxin and one Covishield. So Health Ministry has warned against this, and till now there is no clearance from the government side that that the people can intermix the vaccine. Then this is related to India's solar capacity. We'll discuss about India's solar capacity and India's renewable energy capacity. And this is about Russia. This is about also BrahMos accidental missile launch on 9th March. So you need to remember the date. Date is the 9th March. So date is important. Now we'll discuss the topics. The first article here is wearing hijab is not an essential part of religion. So Karnataka High Court on Tuesday upheld the ban. So it has upheld the ban on wearing hijab by students in school and colleges in the state. Schools and colleges in the state. It held that wearing the hijab is not an essential. First thing, it held that it is not an essential religious practice in Islam. It is not an essential religious practice in Islam and is not therefore protected under the right to freedom of religion guaranteed under Article 25. So Article 25 of the Constitution of India provides for right to freedom of religion, right to freedom of religion. However, government can intervene in order to make the society a better society, and in order to remove those practices which are derogatory or which are against the fundamental rights, or which are discriminatory or which dehumanize humans. So the what this says, that under Article 25, individual have right to freedom of religion, but only those practices are guaranteed which are essential religious practices in the Islam, in the any religion. So in this case, the government said that wearing hijab is not an essential religious practice of Islam. Therefore, it cannot be guaranteed under fundamental right under Article 25. And therefore, since it is not an essential religious practice, therefore, the government says that hijab ban is constitutional. Hijab ban is constitutional because if it is an essential religious practice, then it is a fundamental right, and therefore government cannot deny people wearing hijab. Now, what is essential religious practice? It is seen through the various texts of that religion, or various authorities of that religion that are there, and accordingly it is decided whether the particular practice is an essential religious practice or not. So what becomes important in Article 25, or right to freedom of religion, is essential religious practice. And since in this case the court is of the opinion that wearing hijab is not an essential religious practice, therefore the order of government banning wearing hijab in schools and colleges is constitutional, and therefore it cannot students cannot wear hijab in the college and schools. So the court said it was a reasonable restriction, since because under Article 25, reasonable restriction can be imposed on morality, health, public order, and other fundamental rights. So the court said it was a reasonable restriction that was constitutionally permissible. So therefore, court upheld this hijab ban. The bench also upheld the legality of the Karnataka government's February 5, 2020 order prescribing guidelines for uniform in school and pre-university college. So this is all related to the government that upheld Karnataka government order of February 5, 2022, that which prescribe a guideline for uniform that the students are supposed to wear in the schools and the universities. So second article is India's solar capacity milestone challenges. So this article says that India added a record 10 gigawatt of solar energy to its cumulative capacity in 20. So currently India's solar energy capacity is installed capacity is 50 gigawatt. So this is a milestone in India's journey towards generating 500 gigawatt from. So and India's target is to generate 500 gigawatt by 2030 from renewable energy sources, not renewable. So this is a major step. Currently 50 gigawatt from solar. So India's capacity addition ranks the fifth in the solar power deployment, contributing nearly 6 point. So currently India's solar power ranked at fifth position. So thermal is there, hydro is there, and then there is thermal is there, hydro is there, and then nuclear is there, and solar is there. So it ranks at fifth. There are some areas of concern. So this article says that it is a good step that India is increasing its capacity in solar energy. Currently it is at 50 gigawatt, and the target is achieving 500 gigawatt from renewable, not only from solar but from renewable. So however, the article highlights there are some concerns. There are some concerns to the highlight. First, of the 50 gigawatts installed, an overwhelming 42 gigawatt comes from ground mounted. So this is a plain land, and then there is a ground mounted solar panel, and so 42%, 42 gigawatt out of 50 comes from this solar photovoltaic, and only 6.48 gigawatt comes from rooftop. So the very less utilization of rooftop for the solar power energy. So in this what happens, the land is also taken, and land cannot be used for other purposes. But in rooftop, that rooftop has enough surface, and on that, and every house or any installment, the rooftop solar panels can be installed and solar energy can be produced. But the energy produced from rooftop is very less compared to energy from land-based solar energy. Moreover, backward integration in the solar value chain is absent, as India has no capacity for manufacturing solar wafers and polys. So this is another challenge, in that India has no capacity. So most of India's solar energy equipment comes from China. So in 2021, India imported nearly $76.62 billion worth solar cells and modules from China alone. So you can see that this is the number of this is the huge number. India imports most of its solar panels or solar technology from China. Low manufacturing capacity coupled with cheaper imports. So India does not have good manufacturing capability. Plus, there is cheaper imports from China, and have rendered Indian products uncompetitive in the domestic market. Because of the cheaper products from China, India's domestic industry is not able to compete with China's product in the solar market. The contribution of solar energy to the country's power generation has not grown at the same pace. It is not growing very fast. In 2019, for instance, solar power contributed only 3.6% of 50 billion units, India's total power generation of 19 billion. So in 2019, only 3.6% of India's total energy is coming from solar energy. Domestic manufacturing capacity in the solar sector do not match up so India has a huge potential in the domestic manufacturing when it comes to solar energy, but it is not being utilized well, and and there is a lack of manufacturing and lack of government support in order to support this solar manufacturing industry. And in order to achieve the target of 500 gigawatt from renewable, or 50% of India's energy from renewable sources by 2030, or by becoming net zero emission, achieving net zero emission by 2070, or other such target, it is important that India need to focus sharply or largely on solar energy sector. CRISIL reports on the subject highlights that as on March 31, 2020, India had 3 gigawatt capacity for solar power cell production and 8 gigawatt for solar panels. So this is the capacity for India when it comes to solar power equipment. Moreover, backward integration solar well absent. So this we have discussed. The situation. So the article says the situation can be, however, corrected if India embraces circular economy model for solar. So circular economy. What is circular economy? That use, then send it for recycling, then that recycled product will be used to manufacturing, then reuse, and then again recycling. So this is a circular economy where the waste is reduced and the waste is recycled, so that there is a less waste, and the other that the good material can be used for that. So the article says that, however, it can be corrected if India embraces circular economy model for solar system. This would allow solar PV waste to be recycled and reduced in the solar PV supply chain. Therefore, it talks about recycling and reuse becomes an important in order to India become a domestic manufacturer, or in order for India to reduce its dependence on China when it comes to the solar power equipments. Now, third, UK briefed on the status of FCRA curbs on Oxfam, so it is not important. So MHA has issued a list of 6,000 NGOs whose FCRA registration or license to receive foreign fund have ceased to operate as the ministry refused to renew their application. So what is FCRA? So FCRA, that is a Foreign Contribution Regulation Act 2020 amendment. So FCRA is an act which governs, or which you can say regulate the foreign funding to the institution or NGOs working in the India. So the objective of this amendment, or objective of this regulation, is that the funds coming from the foreign countries or foreign individuals do not harm India's domestic policy. Because what happens, suppose India is making a project here, and then one person from this country or institution from this country gives money to this NGO, and this NGO stages protest against this particular development project, or you can say that this particular individual or institution can fund a particular NGO, then it can stall India's policy development, or it leads to policy paralysis. Or when this fund goes to a particular newspaper or news channel, then they will show, or they will highlight the news as per the interest of these people, as per the interest of those who are funding them. So in order to regulate this FCRA was there, that Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. So there are certain things that an NGO needs to follow in order to continue receiving fund. So this is why this was in news. So last year, in 1 or 2 months back, the license of around 6,000 NGOs was not renewed from Ministry of Home Affairs, because they either did not audit their accounts or did not follow all the guidelines which are there in the FCRA. And in FCRA, there are particular, so the government official, news channel, or you can say newspaper, judges, MPs, MLAs, politicians, political parties, these politicians and all are not required, all are barred from accepting foreign funds, because foreign contribution, because these are important individuals, and they can, and if these people are getting funds from foreign entity, then they might work in the interest of that foreign individual or foreign entity, and not in the best interest of Indian society or people or government of India. Therefore, this is an act which regulates the foreign funding in India. So you have to remember this, which act regulate the foreign funding in India, that is FCRA, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. So for more detail, you can go and watch Vidhigya explain session. In one of the session, I have discussed about Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, that you can watch for more detailed understanding. Now SC stays telecast ban on media one channel. So the High Court. So what happened? So High Court has banned Media One channel because the government has said that this channel is threat to the there was certain controversy and the government says that it is a threat to national security and sovereignty. So what happens? So this petitioners argued that it violates their right to profession, right to freedom of speech and expression, and at the same time, for an individual, in order to make a right choice, right to information becomes important. Therefore, right to information is also a fundamental right of individual. And so the rights of these media one channel and right of the people who are in need of information is being violated. Therefore, this was challenged. However, the High Court has said that on the garb of national security and sovereignty, it bans the it has banned it has accepted the ban on the media one channel, but this was later challenged in the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court stayed the ban, because Supreme Court said that on the garb of national security, you cannot do everything. So what happens if the government says anything that this threatens the national security, then government can restrict or regulate, or you can say government can become the sole supervisor of that. Government can restrict, or government can say that government can ban that particular entity or news channel. So this term national security is a very broad term, and there is no specific meaning attached to it, or there is no clear definition of what national security is. So therefore, Supreme Court has said that in the whenever the government says national security, it cannot become a blanket statement that okay, now since government has mentioned national security, therefore and now everything is important, national security is important, and now whatever the government is saying is okay, and the ban will there. So government saying that national security, whenever any decision is taken, there should be following clear. When a decision is taken on the basis of national security, for example, banning the media one channel, so it says that there must be a proportionality. There must be a link between the objective and between the decision taken. It must be proportional decision, and there should not be any alternate which is less harmful for that particular entity, and there should be legal basis for that particular decision. So this is known as a proportionality test. So government says in such cases there needs to be a proportionality test, and government cannot use this blanket term that is national security, and just because of on the pretext of national security, government can ban, regulate, restrict everything. So there needs to be a proper procedure that needs to be followed, and therefore on the basis of that, the Supreme Court states the telecast ban on media one channel. So this is the basic information related to this article. Now, the last article is accidental missile launch. So we have discussed about that on 9th March. A missile was accidentally, because of technical malfunction, was launched into the Pakistani territory. So briefing on the incident which occurred on March 9. Mr. Singh said that during the routine maintenance and inspection, a missile was accidentally released at around 7 p.m. It was later learned that missile had landed inside the territory of Pakistan. So now we have already discussed in previous session about this BrahMos missile. So in explained session, I've talked about BrahMos missile, that is the functioning of BrahMos missile, and it's a land, air, and surface-based missile. It is a cruise missile, and its range currently is 290 kilometer, and it is being tested for 400 kilometer and 800 kilometer. Now, basic information related to BrahMos. BrahMos, it is a collaboration of India and Russia. The name is derived from Brahmaputra River, and Moskova River. So this is the basic information related to BrahMos missile. So the government has not officially acknowledged which missile it was, but sources have indicated that it was a BrahMos supersonic cruise missile. The description given by Pakistan on the BrahMos technical characteristic of the missile fits the BrahMos. So currently, government has not released the which missile it was, but the technological features highlight that it is a BrahMos missile produced in a joint venture between India and Russia and named after Brahmaputra and Moskova River. BrahMos is a potent precision strike weapon with variants that can launch from land, sea, and air, and a range of 290 kilometers deployed by all three services. So you have to remember about the BrahMos missile, and the date on which it was misfired, and about it is a cruise missile launched from land, sea, and then air also. So these are the basic information that you need to know. And now all the articles that are related to BrahMos missile or this accidental, these are the opinion of the authors. These are the opinion of author that what could have been and what is the future core action, what India needs to change in its security infrastructure, or India is a responsible power. Therefore, such events should not happen. And provided if such events happen during Balakot strike or other important events, during the other important events such as election in the India, then it could lead to a big event, and it could lead to a catastrophic situation in which the Pakistan might also retaliate. So since these are the personal opinions of author, that since therefore these are not the possibility that can come in the question, because it is not a subjective paper, it is an objective paper. Therefore, we need to find out those factual information that can come in the information. So here it is talks about the BrahMos missile that was in the news. Therefore, we need to understand about the BrahMos missile. And another thing that you need to remember about that, on which date it was fired, accidentally misfired, that is on 9th March, and in which country it landed in the Pakistan. Now we'll discuss 5 important questions. Question number: which article provides right to freedom of religion? Article 24, Article 25, Article 26, Article 27. The correct option is Article 25 of the Constitution of India. BrahMos is the joint venture of India with which of the following countries? Japan, Israel, Russia, none of the above. The correct option here is Russia. Question number 3: BrahMos can be launched from which of the following? Air, land, water, all of the above. Correct option is all of the above. India plans to achieve 500 gigawatt energy from renewable resources by which year? 2025, 2030, 2035, none of the above. The correct option is 2030. Question number 5: India set the target of achieving net zero emission by which year? 2050, 2060, 2070, 2080. The correct option is 2070. So recently in the COP26, India has given 5 points, that is known as Pancha Mitra, in which India has committed to achieve net zero emission by 2070. So that's all for this session. Stay logical with Vidhigya, your best pal in CLAT Preps.